Okay, so imagine this. It's twilight. Not quite dark, but that sort of in-between time where everything feels a bit different.
That liminal space.
Exactly. And there's a mirror, maybe in your room, and it looks normal enough, but there's also something, I don't know, strange about it. Shimmering, maybe. That's kind of the feeling we're diving into based on this really evocative account someone shared.
Yes, what struck me immediately was that dreamlike feeling. It really speaks to something deep, doesn't it? Using the language of symbols.
The mirror itself, yeah.
Well, a mirror, it's more than just glass, isn't it? It shows us our reflection, sure, the face we show the world, but maybe also hints at what's inside, the self we don't always show.
Absolutely. And then the moment where the reflection seems to, well, gain its own agency, that's where it really grabs you.
Like the uncanny valley hits.
Yeah. That slight tilt of the head you mentioned, the gaze that feels like it's actually looking at you, not just mimicking.
Yeah.
It's unsettling.
It is. Something so familiar suddenly acting unexpectedly.
And then the hand. The description of the hand just passing right through the glass.
Wow. That's such a powerful image, like stepping beyond the surface, right? Into another realm almost.
A place with different rules.
Exactly. That moment, the hand sinking in, it signals a move.
Yeah.
From the literal, the everyday, into the symbolic.
Well,
It's where let's say, the usual logic loosens up and the unconscious mind can maybe, express itself a bit more freely.
So the things the reflection does next, brushing dust off its shoulder, adjusting its cuffs, that little wistful smile.
Those small independent gestures, they suggest an inner life, don't they? A part of the self that's maybe tending to things the conscious mind doesn't even notice. It makes you wonder, what unspoken needs or perhaps desires are being acknowledged there in those quiet little movements.
It really does. It's like getting a peek, sort of, behind the scenes. All this subtle stuff happening beneath what we normally perceive.
A glimpse of the engine room, yes.
And then the room gets darker, and these shadowy figures start to appear, whispering things. Buried desires, suppressed fears, painful memories.
Ah, yes. Classic imagery for what lies beneath our awareness, starting to take shape.
It feels very internal.
Well, the dimming light, the whispered secrets. It naturally draws your attention inward, doesn't it? Creates that atmosphere for introspection.
Yeah.
And these murmurs, they touch on really fundamental human things, what we long for, what we're afraid of, what we try to hide, even from ourselves.
The way reality and illusion blur.
It highlights how powerful these unconscious elements are, how they can shape how we see everything. Confronting them, even symbolically like this, it can be a first step, towards understanding their pull.
And right in the middle of all this, there's the double, the reflection. Just watching. Its expression totally unreadable.
Holding this sense of deep, unspoken knowledge.
That's like meeting a silent witness inside you, isn't it? Someone who's seen everything, even the stuff you've tried to bury.
That's a really interesting way to put it. Could that unreadability actually be reflecting our own difficulty, our own struggle to fully see or accept that part of ourselves?
Rather than the double actively hiding something.
Maybe. And that feeling of familiarity you mentioned, despite how strange it all is, that's key too, I think.
You recognize it somehow.
You recognize this double even as it acts on its own. It makes you think, doesn't it, that even the most hidden parts of us aren't totally alien. They're still part of our story.
Chapters we haven't read in a while.
Perhaps, yes. Chapters waiting to be revisited.
Then the mirror itself starts to expand, just takes over the whole room, trapping you and the double inside this reflective void. Time just stops making sense.
It's as if the usual boundaries of the self just dissolve.
Yeah.
And the only reality left is this encounter, this face-to-face with your inner landscape.
That engulfing void.
Yeah.
Is it, like, symbolically, the ego kind of loosening its grip?
It could be seen that way, yes. Where the usual lines between me and not me get blurry. It allows for a much deeper, more direct confrontation with that inner self.
Stripped of everything else.
Precisely. No external cues, no clock ticking. The focus just zooms right in on the interaction between the conscious self, you, and this manifested other.
Sets the stage.
It really does. For a very direct kind of communication, even if it's not words.
Which brings us to maybe one way to understand all this. Thinking of the double as the unconscious mind itself, taking on a symbolic form.
Exactly. Communicating truths, maybe difficult truths that our everyday thinking isn't quite ready for.
So when we say unconscious mind here,
Yeah.
what are we really talking about in this kind of context?
Well, think of it like a huge, deep reservoir inside you, full of all your experiences, memories, desires, fears. Everything that operates outside your immediate awareness.
Okay.
But it's powerful. It influences your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, often in ways you don't fully realize. The double here becomes like a messenger, a voice from that deeper place.
The questions it raises are just, wow, who is this shadow self?
Right.
Why doesn't it just act like a normal reflection? And why does it feel so familiar, even though it's so strange?
It really points to the idea that we're not meeting a stranger, are we? We're meeting a part of ourselves, maybe a part we haven't earned up to.
The shadow self.
Yes, and that term, it encompasses things we might repress or deny, things we see as negative sometimes, but also, surprisingly, maybe even positive qualities we haven't fully stepped into yet.
Huh.
Oh yes, this double seems to embody elements the conscious self hasn't quite integrated. And that familiarity, it hints at a deep recognition, doesn't it? That sense that these denied parts are still fundamentally us.
Then the double actually steps out of the mirror. That's a big
A
moment.
huge shift.
And it moves differently. Fluid, hypnotic.
Yeah.
Its whole bearing changes. Confident, purposeful, maybe even a little mischievous.
Yes, it's not passive anymore. It's an active presence, stepping right into your space.
So what does that signify?
Well, it suggests a change in the dynamic, perhaps, between the conscious and the unconscious. The unconscious isn't just being watched anymore, it's engaging, actively.
And the confidence, the mischief.
That could represent a kind of liberation, couldn't it, of those previously repressed parts, a newfound freedom. The mischief might be the playful side, the less inhibited part of you wanting an outlet.
And the account makes it really clear this isn't just another version of you. It embodies your wishes, your fears, your secret longings.
It's like holding up a mirror to the soul's hidden corners, isn't it?
Yeah.
The double becomes a sort of projection screen for your inner world. It holds all the what-ifs and the if-onlys, the parts of yourself you either desperately want or actively try to avoid.
Recognizing that seems
It
huge.
can be a massive step towards self-understanding, yes.
Then there's that sudden gust of wind. The lights go out,
Yeah.
and suddenly your other senses are heightened.
Ah, yes. The soft rustle of fabric, maybe a faint scent of cologne, the warmth of the double's presence nearby.
It creates this intense feeling of being trapped, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a confrontation is absolutely unavoidable now.
It's as if all the external noise has been stripped away, forcing this direct encounter.
Yeah.
Just you and this manifested inner self.
And the whispered question, who are you? The response isn't words, but this overwhelming wave of emotion, longing, defiance, vulnerability, power, all mixed together.
Such a raw and powerful exchange, even without spoken language.
It says so much about how complex our inner lives are, right? Often full of contradictions.
Absolutely. That flood of emotion, it really underscores how hard it is to pin down the unconscious with just words or logic. It often speaks through feeling,
And the contradictions within it.
longing and defiance, vulnerability and power. They reflect the inner conflicts we all grapple with, don't they?
And the listener's reaction in the story actually kneeling, the unexpected
Yeah.
tears, feeling totally raw and exposed.
It
Yeah.
suggests a moment of profound vulnerability, like all the usual defenses just fell away. But that act of surrender, it can be incredibly cathartic, you know? It allows for a much more authentic connection with yourself.
Then the double offers a hand, and the touch is described as neutral, almost clinical.
Interesting detail.
And suddenly memories start appearing in the darkness. Flickering images, childhood moments, faces of loved ones, happy, sad, familiar places filled with echoes.
It's like the unconscious is offering a guided tour through your personal history.
But ensuring an honest look.
Perhaps that neutral touch suggests an objective re-examination, without the usual filters we put on our memories. Projecting those formative moments highlights how the past is still alive, how it shapes who we are right now.
The narrative calls the journey terrifying, but also beautiful, stripping away illusions to get to the core self.
Yes, that paradox is central. Each memory is like a key unlocking hidden parts of yourself, hidden understanding.
It sounds intense.
It absolutely can be. Unsettling, perhaps, but holding such potential for real self-discovery, for integration.
And then it just stops. The visions cease, and there's this strange feeling of completeness left behind. The double retreats back into the mirror, the glass solidifies, light returns, like waking from a really vivid dream.
It feels distant yet immediate at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
That return to order, it signifies a kind of reintegration, doesn't it?
Right.
The conscious self is back in charge, but it's now carrying the imprint of that deep dive into the unconscious.
And the feeling of completeness.
It suggests a newfound understanding, maybe, a sense of having connected with something fundamental inside.
So the key takeaway here seems to be about the shift that happens. That lingering feeling of having met a part of yourself that felt estranged.
Yes. Whether you first saw it as a friend or a foe, this double is now sort of etched into your awareness.
A reminder.
A reminder, I think, of the importance of embracing all parts of who we are if we want real integration, real wholeness.
Even the uncomfortable parts.
Especially those, perhaps. True wholeness comes from accepting our complexities, our contradictions.
And the final thought seems to be that this journey, this looking inward, it isn't just a one-off thing.
No, absolutely not.
It's ongoing. Endless possibilities for discovery, for understanding.
Precisely. The unconscious isn't static. It's a dynamic, evolving landscape within us.
So the double isn't really an enemy to be defeated.
Not at all. In this light, it becomes more like a companion, doesn't it? A lifelong companion on this continuous path of self-discovery, offering ongoing chances for growth and deeper self-awareness.
That's a really powerful way to reframe it. Not something to fear, but an intrinsic part of us to understand and work with.
Exactly. It's part of the journey towards knowing yourself more fully.
Wow. A truly profound inner journey unpacked there. Thank you for walking through this symbolism with me.
My pleasure. It's a potent reminder, isn't it?
It really is. Of the incredibly rich and complex inner worlds we all carry around, and the insights waiting for us if we just dare to look a bit deeper.